It is 6:30 Pacific time, and this is Mark Gordon, and we're going to talk about detoxification. So I always start these broadcasts with a little bit of information on what we're talking about when we say detoxification. We're talking about detoxification of your lymph system, and basically the body has two fluids, two major fluids. One is blood, and that's sort of your kitchen. That feeds your cells. Okay, and then the lymph system is your sewer system. This deals with the waste from your 100 trillion cells. So this is your sewage system, and it also deals with the acid side of chemistry. Okay, we have alkaline and acid. So acids destroy, they burn, they dehydrate. And then the alkaline side is soothing and hydrating. So this is where I believe 95, maybe even higher percent of our ailments are centered. I don't really believe in so-called diseases. I think they're just names for symptoms that of acid conditions in the body. So we want to detoxify that out, and we do that by getting kidney filtration. We get the kidney door open. This is where your lymphatic wastes are filtered out of the lymph system. So we get the kidneys filtering lymph. Sometimes that's not so easy, so we have certain tricks, and we use herbs and things like that to get those kidneys filtering. So once you do have kidney filtration, the healing can begin. In other words, the detoxification of the lymph system can begin. So these acids can leave the body, these toxins can leave the body and not build up and stagnate inside your body and do damage. So that's it in a nutshell, and that's all we really talk about. And once you get a handle on this, it's actually very simple to get your head around. Two major fluids, two sides to chemistry, acid, alkaline. That's really it. Okay, you have a sewage system, and we need to clean it. So what happens if your pipes back up in your house, your toilet backs up? It gets pretty nasty pretty quick, and that's the same thing in the body. So I was not on live last week. I was actually skiing, and I did it on 90% fruit, and it was fantastic. And we had a large storm come through, and we had about 4 feet of snow up in Mammoth. So very very heavy. We call it Sierra cement, and so it takes a lot of energy. But I was doing fine on the fruit. It was just amazing. And the friends that I ski with, they can't believe it. They think I'm crazy because they're eating their big, breakfast burritos in the morning, and just having these monstrous meals. And I'm just getting by on mostly fruit, which is fantastic. And it's kind of a hassle though. I have to bring my own fruit. I have to bring my NutriBullet and set it up in the hotel and all that kind of stuff. But it's really worth it. I'll have a couple smoothies in the morning when I'm getting ready. And I'll carry raisins and dates with me and some nuts while I'm up on the mountain. And it actually saves me a lot of money. I mean, the food at ski areas is outrageously expensive. I mean, my friend he had a breakfast burrito, he had coffee, and I think he also had an iced tea or a Coca-Cola or something. That was his sports drink, I guess. So, anyways, it cost him 22 bucks for that. So, I'm not saying that being high fruit saves you money. I don't think it does. It's kind of expensive actually, but avoiding those high cost restaurant meals certainly saves you a few bucks there. But, anyways, I did great. And the thing I want to share is when you're exerting energy, skiing or doing anything strenuous like that, your muscles excrete lactic acid, and that's acids in the body. Those acids need to be able to move. So if you have a sticky lymph system, those aren't going to move, and they're going to start hurting you very quickly, even on the mountain. And I can remember when I was eating a regular diet that I would get, very sore, and I was always looking forward to the jacuzzi after skiing, jumping in that hot, bubbly water. Getting your back on the jets, getting your shoulders on the jets, your knees, all that kind of stuff. And I got to say, yeah, I had a little bit of soreness, but not much at all. And the place I really noticed it was on the chairlift, because your feet kind of have to hang over. And that's where I would notice a little bit of soreness. But for the most part, doing really well with on that end. And considering that I'm getting up there in years, a lot of people when they get in their 50s, they're all those years of eating that acidic food, and acidic food, just to remind you, is dairy and cooked grains and meats. Those are all acidic. They form acids in the body. They clog your lymph system. They shut down your kidney filtration. So by eating the alkalizing foods, the foods that actually move the lymph and actually alkalize the lymph, will come in and keep it free flowing so those acids can be dealt with very quickly by the body. So it's really a plus. And you know, I plan to be doing, you know, be skiing for many, many years. In fact, the owner of Mammoth Mountain is 103 or 104. His name is Dave McCoy. And I remember shaking his hand years and years ago, I think back in the late 70s. And a friend introduced me to him, and he looked like just a cowboy. I mean, he had a Pendleton shirt on. He had, you know, big rough hands, just burly guy. And he shook my hand with just a lot of energy and strength. And I remember him from back then. And I understand he's still skiing. He's doing cross country skiing. He's not you know, going downhill, but he's still on skis at that age, which is amazing. Now I don't know what his diet is. I always talk about Klaus Obermeyer, you know, who's 97, who's mostly raw. He does have a breakfast, but he is mostly raw after that, and he's still on skis at 97 and skiing very well. So, you know, I'm not really into this for longevity. I just want to keep doing what I like to do. I want to bop till I drop, so to speak. So I really think that high fruit is really the answer to that, and certainly being raw is the answer to that. And there, you know, afterwards, you know, for dinner, you know, my restaurant of choice would be someplace with a good salad bar. So I would hunt down the restaurants where my friends could get their meat. They were craving their meat and potatoes and all that, and I was craving like a good salad bar. So by just replenishing at night, you know, skiing mostly fruit for the energy and the alkalization during the day, and then at night, going in for the salads and just loading back up on those greens and trying to get the full spectrum of color. You know, color in the vegetables is really the mineral content, and we need our minerals. You know, they really help the process of energizing the body, fortifying the body, nutrifying the body. So I try to eat sort of what they call a rainbow salad. Try to put as many colors on there as possible. So yeah, I just wanted to report that. Also, on Friday, I went to the Natural Products Expo down in Anaheim, California, down by Disneyland. And my God, I mean, you can't believe it. I would say there were 500 vendors there. They took over the whole entire convention center, and this is a huge convention center. They had bands playing. They were giving out everything. Gigantic companies were there. You know, anything from food companies to soaps and cosmetics and just everything, and they're all sort of branding as natural. And you know, you'd walk by and they'd hand you a bag, you know, with their brand on it. I think the first bag I got was Kind, you know, the Kind bars, they're snack bars, and you know, they're just like a candy, really. I mean, in my view, a little better than a candy, but you know, you get the point. And so they're all trying to brand themselves, and they're handing out just tons of stuff. I brought my daughter with me, and she loaded up 2 bags full of stuff. I had been there before, so I knew not to lug all that stuff around. But anyways, I wanted to show you guys a product. I don't know if you can see that. This one here is called Late July Nacho Cheese, and they are tortilla chips, okay? And it says here, it says made with organic yellow corn, and it's got a non-GMO verified label on here, right? All looks really super healthy. It's got a little thing by the person that owns the company or runs the company, Nicole, and she says she's the founder, CEO, and a taco truck fanatic. Okay, so they're gluten-free, organic, and they're latejuly.com. They're taco truck tortilla chips. Anyways, you read the label, right, and it all sounds really good. But I noticed there's a couple things here. One is a yeast extract, right? And the other one is natural flavorings. Now, those can hide MSG, monosodium glutamate, okay? And they put that in these things to get the flavor. And this is a neurotoxin, okay? Toxic to the nervous system, all right? And I'm really sensitive to it. I get headaches, I get dry eyes, all kinds of fun things, and migraines. And so it does not say on here, I looked, and it does not say no MSG. So MSG is hidden in this natural product, okay? So I just wanted you guys to be aware. I'm sure you guys all know that anyways. but I like to just stay on top of this kind of stuff. Okay, so and one thing I noticed, they all have small names. Okay, so we all know Orville Redenbacher. Okay, now this is bought out by one of the giant food companies. I don't know which one, Kellogg's or something. I don't know. But Orville Redenbacher is what I always thought of him. When I was younger, as hey, he's a guy with a popcorn wagon on the corner of Gary, Indiana, with one of those sleeve things on and all that, in one of those styrofoam hats. But no, Orville Redenbacher is, this is a cover for a large corporation, and so is, they have names like Annie's and Molly's and Jimmy's Farm and all this stuff. These are all big corporate, fronts, if you will. So you got to be careful, and the show was full of that kind of stuff. I did come across some good products. I came across some biodynamic herbs, which were really cool. And biodynamics is where they plant a cow's hoof, at a full moon at 12 o'clock at night, and this and that. But they have a very strict way that they farm, so the products are usually pretty conscious. So, anyways, just wanted to share that with you. And there's something else I wanted to talk about. I get Netflix streaming. I'm sure a lot of you guys get it. And there's a new show on there, and it's called Cooked. Okay? And Cooked is all about cooked food. And I really like the Netflix documentaries. I think they do a really fantastic job. And food is entertainment to a lot of people. And I've even caught myself watching some of these cooking shows, even though I don't cook food. But some of them are kind of neat. There was one guy who was actually a great chef, and he was trained in the Cordon Bleu in France and all this. And he got into cooking food underground. He would bury it in dirt, and he would do these roasted vegetables. He would do some meats as well, fish. This was down in Patagonia. He has a place in Patagonia where he'd bring his top clients. Anyways, really beautifully photographed, all that. So I was interested in Cook just to see what they were doing. Alex Gibney is the executive producer, very famous guy. He did Enron, The Smartest Guys in the Room. He did the Steve Jobs documentary. Very talented guy. So I wanted to see what he was going to come up with, and I could not believe it. I really couldn't believe it. The show opens, and they're actually saying, it opens in the deserts of Australia, right? And these Aborigine people are hunting for lizards, and they pull this gigantic lizard out of the ground, and this woman just starts whacking its head on the ground to kill it right there. And she's carrying this dead lizard, and they show her cooking it, and I'm just completely grossed out. And believe me, these people did not look healthy, okay? I'll leave it at that. But anyways, they're cooking they're monitor lizards, okay? So the deal is that they said, in a very scientific setting, I think they were inside a natural history museum, and they were talking about the apes and all that. And they basically said, here's the quote, Homo erectus evolved when the ape learned to cook. In other words, when the ape learned to cook its food, that's when the intelligent humanoid developed. And one of their quotes was that we have no evidence that man could survive eating raw food. He would die eating raw food, and I couldn't believe it. Their argument was that the brain is a hungry organ. Our brain has evolved so much and grown so much that it needs a lot of energy. And that's true. That's true. But you're not going to get that kind of energy from dead lizards. You're going to get it from fruit. Okay, you're going to get it from berries, especially berries. You're going to get it from, just the citruses, the apples, all that stuff. Fruit is the highest energetics of any food. It's a simple sugar that goes right into the body, and the cells live off it. They get energy from it. So I couldn't believe it. And, to make these kinds of statements was just unbelievable. Man began to really evolve into this, only because they cook their food. And so they're basing their whole I urge you guys to go see it, and hopefully you guys can chime back and give me your views on it. But I'm just appalled. I really am. This is just such misinformation. That we would die on raw food. I mean, I mean, I know a lot of you out there live on raw food like myself. I mean, we're thriving. It's unbelievable. So maybe they just don't know. One of their points was that it took such an enormous amount of energy to chew raw food that when they started cooking their food, they softened the food so the food would digest easier. You wouldn't have to chew it so much. Well, cooking your food flips the chemistry, makes it acidic. So, I think it's the downfall of man myself. So, anyways, but I don't know. I'll watch some more. But anyways, let me see if you guys have any questions. I got a bunch more to talk about. Having a week off, I kind of loaded up on a few things I wanted to share with you guys. But anyways, okay. So we got Gigi. Okay, Gigi's a type 2 diabetic, and her blood sugar is 145 to 179. So she has high blood sugar, which they call type 2 diabetes, hyperglycemia. I was given advice on going raw, and that is good advice. Drink lots of water. Well, I don't know about that. Breakfast is sweet fruits, okay? Lunch is sweet and non-sweet fruit together. Okay, supper, non-sweet fruit and vegetables. Cannot do water fast. Feel too weak. If I do, your thoughts, Mark. How to strengthen the adrenal glands. Well, okay, so Gigi, you're on it. Okay, the adrenal glands are the key to this because the adrenal glands, besides doing a whole bunch of other things, including making anti-inflammatory steroids, they also metabolize your sugars. They help you metabolize that sugar, okay, from the fruits and all that. So if you're a diabetic, you got to bring those adrenals up so they metabolize those sugars more, okay? And if you don't let's say you eat a bowl of fruit or whatever, a bowl of Pop-Tarts, whatever, or sugar pops or whatever. Okay, so you eat a bowl of this, right? So the sugar comes in, right? It has to metabolize, right? Okay, it has to be prepared to be used by the body. All right. If it's not metabolizing, it gets sent into the bloodstream and it raises your blood sugar levels. Okay. So by bringing up those adrenal glands, we get it to metabolize quicker. Okay. So there you go. So you're on the right track. How do you strengthen the adrenal glands? You detoxify. Okay. You do that by getting off inflammatory, acid-forming foods that we talked about. Okay. And then you get on the herbs, okay? And licorice root is fantastic for bringing up the adrenal glands. So is Siberian ginseng. The berries, the juniper berries especially, are really good. Getting on these adrenal herbs and getting on basically kidney herbs as well to help bring inflammation out of the kidneys and out of the body, get the kidneys filtering so these acids can leave. Okay, when the acids leave, the inflammation in the glands, including the adrenal glands in the kidneys, starts to go down. They work better. They metabolize more sugar. Okay, the kidneys filter more. So it's a win-win-win. Now, I'm not advising. I don't give any advice on so-called diseases, but if it was me, I'd be monitoring the heck out of my blood sugar. I'd have one of those little machines, and I would watch that. Okay, and if you go to my website, I have a Harvard study, okay, that shows you not only the glycemic index, but the glycemic load of a lot of foods. Okay, now the glycemic index is when you eat a food is how fast it raises your blood sugar. Okay, how quickly it'll raise it. The glycemic load is how much your blood sugar is going to get raised. So you want to know that for the foods. And I've talked about this before, but an apple or a peach or a pear has a 4 on the glycemic load, all right? They're doing it by servings, all right? So the fruit has a 4. A plain bagel, no butter, no cream cheese, nothing. A plain bagel has a glycemic load of 25, all right? So that bagel loads up your blood with sugar 4 to 5 times more than that apple, peach, plum, pear, whatever. Okay, just so you know. So don't fear the fruit. Monitor and get those adrenals back up and healthy. Get all the glands rebalanced. Really, detoxification is the answer. Okay. Hope that helps you. I think I answered all your questions. Cannot do. You had. Yeah, I don't know about drinking lots of water. If you're doing a lot of fruit, you're going to get a lot of water, a lot of really good water, a lot of good structured water. And some say that the water, let's say, inside an orange or a grape, is 5 times more hydrating than regular water. Okay, so the cells just suck it up. The cells let it in. Okay, into the cell wall. They'll let a good structured water into the cell wall a lot easier. Okay, so I don't particularly drink a lot of water myself. If I'm doing something athletic, yeah, okay, I will. If it's hot out, yeah, I will. And but I kind of just sip on it, And that's one thing I got from the Natural Products Expo. I got some pretty cool waters. This is an antioxidant water. So, anyways, so I hope that helps. All right, and yeah, you're on the right path with the fruits. Okay, mixing fruits and vegetables, I'm not such a big fan of because the fruit, of course, has more fructose, natural fructose, and the vegetables have more natural glucose. Okay, even though fruits do have some glucose, but they're more balanced towards the fructose. Okay, so you don't want to really mix them. Okay, hope that helps. And like I said, when I was skiing, I would do the fruits during the day, a lot of high fruit during the day, and then I'd switch to the vegetables at night because vegetables will slow you down. They're not as energizing, but they actually replenish the body. They actually rebuild the body. Okay, so hope that helps. Okay, so Justin, interesting talk. Thanks for doing what you do. Oh, you're welcome, Justin. Have you compared your iris since this journey? Yeah, I have. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Very interested in seeing your personal before and after pics if you have them. Yeah, I should put those up there actually. Um, Actually, I haven't retaken my iris pictures. I have some from I think about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and but I look at my eyes a lot. I take a magnifying glass in the mirror and I look at them, but I should rephotograph them. But I've noticed some big changes, especially the darkness in the bowel area. I had a lot of sulfur, candida, and just toxins in the bowels. And in my latest iridology video, it's on radii solaris, which are they're called rays of the sun. They're toxic tunnels that come out of the bowels, mostly the transverse colon, which is at the top of the between, let's say, 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock on the iris. Those toxic tunnels go right up into the head and all that. And I had that. So I've noticed those coming down. I've noticed my eyes getting much lighter and a lot more hydrated too. My eyes sparkle a lot more. So lots of really good changes. And yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'll take some before and afters. Thanks for reminding me that. That'd be good. Yeah, a lot of people see great changes. It takes 6 months to a year, depending on what you got. But certainly, the bowels can clean out quickly. The orange sulfur can come out. Everybody's different though. Just depends if your kidneys are filtering, if you're moving lymph. Okay, but yeah, thanks for asking that, Justin. I appreciate it. Anna, my mom has ALS. ALS. That's Lou Gehrig's disease. I'm very, very sorry about that. But can only drink smoothies. She can't eat solid food. Any suggestions? I am to start giving her Juice Plus. I don't know what Juice Plus is. Okay, so Dr. Morse talks about ALS. I've never helped anybody that has ALS myself, but it's a neurological disorder, obviously. Dr. Morse talks a lot about this. He's so great. I mean, some of these just terrible diseases or so-called diseases, they have just these awful, awful connotations, and he just says, "Oh yeah, that comes right out." He doesn't seem to be too worried about ALS and pancreatic cancer. Oh yeah, yeah, just detox it right out. So ALS, yeah. He suggests high fruit, 100% fruit, and he even suggests getting on the monofruits. The only way to rebuild the neurological system is to go, super super high fruit. Getting the kidney filtration. I'm going to assume that Juice Plus is some kind of a unnatural thing. I might be wrong. I just don't know. Yeah, if I'm going to compare it to, let's say, Ensure or some of these things, I mean, they're just god awful. I mean, ensure is going to ensure that your lymph system just blocks up and you get even more acidic and more sick. I mean, it really does. You read the label on this stuff. I mean, it's high fructose corn syrup, it's dairy, you know, chemicals. It's just unbelievably mucus forming. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Juice Plus is. Stay natural, everybody. Stay natural. Uh, I'm going to get a little spiritual here. God works. God is nature. Nature wants to come in. It, you know, nature wants to flow through you. You know, it's an energy force that is all around us. It is us. It wants to flow, okay? If you remove the obstructions, let it do its work. That's all we want to do. And you can only do that by eating the foods that are put here for you, okay? That's the only way to do this. And the herbs are here for us as well. They are vegetables with an attitude and a super high intelligence. I mean, I cannot underestimate the intelligence of herbs in the plants. It's beyond belief, okay? And so let's just clear the way. You know, let's take in more of Mother Nature's food so we can have the flow return to us, okay? And that's it. So high fruit, get rid of the fake stuff, get rid of this kind of junk, you know, that has the MSG hidden in that because it tastes so darn good. You know, guys in lab coats make this stuff because they know what tastes good. They've studied it for a long time. If you turn your health over to large corporations, you're not going to have a happy life, okay? Culture is not your friend. Corporations are not your friend. They're in it for themselves, okay? And I'm not anti-corporate. I'm just you know, I'm anti-unnatural when it comes to eating. That's all, okay? So, yeah. Watch, Anna, have your mom, you guys watch, you know, go over to Raw Figs, type in ALS, Lou Gehrig's, watch some of the videos, get inspired, you know, get inspired to go high fruit and really dig in there and do this, okay? And that's my suggestion. Yeah, fruits are the neurological rebuilders, okay? And, you know, I always talk about this woman that came to Dr. Morse's office last month or 2 months ago now and got up out of her wheelchair. And she had MS, multiple sclerosis, really advanced. I mean, her body was depleted. I mean, she had very thin little legs, you know, the kind where the knees show and all that, really. And she was just so grateful. And her husband, I think he was a chiropractor. They were just so good. It's so beautiful to see that. Just go to Dr. Morse's site and type in MS walking or something like that. You'll see it. It's just so. It's on my site too. It's really beautiful. So, high fruit. Fruit is the highest energy, highest brain food, no matter what Cook says. I don't understand this Cook show. I really don't. Very intelligent people too. I just don't get it. You know, sometimes, you know, let me go back. I shouldn't say intelligent. I should say educated. You know, sometimes education can make you less intelligent because, you know, everybody puts their USC stickers on their cars, UCLA, Stanford, Yale, whatever, okay? And they put their faith in these institutions. Like, oh, I've got my, you know, doctorate from Harvard or Yale, so I'm super smart because I've ingested what they've told me and they're the masters, okay? Well, there's a lot more to it than that. That, you know, these people get their funding from corporations and blah, blah, blah. So their information isn't always of the highest intelligence, okay? That's all I'm going to say there. I'm going to turn into a conspiracy theorist. But anyways, yeah, she can't eat solid food. Well, that's fine. You know, just you know, get a nice blender or even a NutriBullet. You know, they're $99 for the NutriBullet Pro now over at Bed Bath and Beyond. I think you can still use your 20% coupon. I love my NutriBullet. I don't even have a fancy Vitamix. I really don't. So, anyways, but I know Vitamixes are great too, and Blendtex are great. So, but I just love the simplicity of the NutriBullet. Okay, Marina, hi. Could you please talk about preventing tooth sensitivity from raw orange juice? Is there another fruit veggie to mix with it? How do you enjoy citrus fruit and juices? Thanks a bunch. That is such a fantastic question, and I've been admitting that I've had some teeth problems with this fruit thing, and I do a lot of citrus, and I have a holistic dentist, and I talked to her about this, you know, and we've come to the conclusion that, you know, when you go high citrus, right, high fruit even, any tiny little cavities that are going to start forming. Maybe there's some enamel, weakened enamel, thinning enamel, all that kind of stuff. That can get exploited by the fruit, by the acids in the fruit, okay? So what I do is after I eat the fruit or have a smoothie, I'll rinse my mouth with water. You can take a pinch of baking soda, swish it around too. Brush your teeth. That's the way I've found, it's just that direct, that direct sort of citric acid on there that can exploit some weaknesses in the teeth. Okay, so I would say just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, raw orange juice is unbelievably cleansing. It is so powerful, and it's super hydrating, alkalizing everything. It is a superfood, really. And I love it. So yeah, just keep doing what you do, but just make sure that you get those citric acids off the teeth. Okay, right after you do it. Okay, and I actually have Pellegrino water or natural carbonated water that I just swish around there, and that's pretty much it. So the simplicity of that. Jeb, not sure if you covered this yet. Do you know what lines in the fingernails mean? Okay, so I'm assuming you're talking about ridged fingernails, and that is your parathyroid gland. Okay, so this is actually a great test for you guys if you don't know this. The parathyroid is here in the throat, and they're little kind of nodules that are on the thyroid. Okay, and this is responsible for calcium utilization. In other words, when let's say you eat some kale, whatever, even in the fruits, there's calcium in all this stuff. So you eat the food, the natural calcium. Okay, so if the parathyroid is low, it won't utilize that calcium. Okay, and then that calcium can get in the body, not being utilized and stored, and it can cause calcifications in the body, in the joints, in the arteries, all kinds of fun things. So we want to utilize calcium. If you're not utilizing calcium, calcium is actually a great antacid as well. Okay, and also it's tied to depression. If you're not utilizing calcium, you get depression and postpartum depression for the women especially. The women can get this, and because the babies suck all their calcium out. So if you guys have weak fingernails, ridged fingernails, you have a parathyroid problem, okay? And this is a great early warning sign, and it's time to fix it. Varicose veins, spider veins, sagging skin. Calcium also helps with the the structure of the body, the firmness of the bones, the firmness of the colon, how it sits in the body. Hemorrhoids, all kinds of things like that. Your skin will feel tighter on your face, all these kinds of things. So, Jeb, it's a great sign that you got to work on the parathyroid, okay? And if you have multiple glands down, then you got to check that pituitary, the master gland in the head, okay? Raw for Steve is back. Raw for Steve, how you doing, Steve? Recently read a spiritual book that said that health issues are basically spiritual issues. I agree. It said if you address your spiritual issues, then your health issues go away. Interesting to me, continued. Interesting to me too. We all seem to put a lot of emphasis on the physical, food and drink. Do you think that health can be regained just focusing on the spiritual, regardless of what you are doing in the physical? Wow, fantastic question. And I was actually doing a lot of thinking about this. I noticed in my own progression that a couple of things. To be honest with you, I recently, I wasn't always vegan, and for most of my life, I ate meat, and even when I was transitioning into high raw, into high fruit, and all that, I would still think, oh, gotta have a little meat. It wasn't until I saw Earthlings, and I recommend this to everybody. It's called Earthlings, and you can get it on YouTube and watch it. And it changed my life. It really did. It got rid of the last bit of meat, eggs, anything to do with animals, and it's just unbelievable. If you are eating meat or consuming eggs, watch this. I pretty much guarantee you you won't be doing it much longer. So that was kind of a spiritual awakening for me in a way. and I really spiritually saw the compassion and the suffering in the animals, and how we as a species think that we're above the other animals, that therefore we have the right to kill them and murder them and eat them, even though we don't need to. And that was a spiritual awakening right there. So by not consuming meat, that helps us not have the proteins. Those complex animal proteins are very hard on the kidneys. They'll shut the kidneys down. They'll inflame the kidneys. They'll back up the lymph system. They're acidic. They're mucus forming. They've got all kinds of chemicals in their hormones, all kinds of things. So yeah, so in a way, I'm kind of going around that, but in a way, yeah, changing the diet will help you spiritually in that way. Dr. Morse always talks about he went on a high orange. I think he was eating 100% oranges for a while, and he's a hippie from way back, and he was living in his van, and kind of a hermit, and he just started eating oranges, and he was eating 40, 50 oranges a day, and that was it. He said he had to stop because he was being too spiritually ignited, and he didn't feel grounded anymore. He was leaving his body basically, and he wasn't feeling like he was in his body. So yes, there's another instance of that. I believe that I'm kind of getting my message more clarified. If you guys have been listening to me, I'm kind of saying that God is nature, works through nature. Nature is everywhere. You are nature. And anyways, the natural world is where we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be living in this natural world. We're supposed to be eating from the natural world. So that's a spiritual message in itself. That is the purest spiritual message I can give you. I used to post this thing on my Facebook. It was a Native American woman that said, nature is my God, and the earth is my church. And I firmly believe that. So if we can embrace that, if we can really trust the power of nature to give us healing, to come inside of us, to energize us, to cleanse us, to love us, if you will, then that's a spiritual message through the food. So guys, yeah, stay organic, get away from the GMO, get away from all the fake stuff. It's only going to tear you down. All right. And then you got to go into their world. You got to go into their world of pharmaceutical chemicals and lasers and radiation, all these things, that can really cause a lot of problems. All right. And so you can find your remedy in nature. And, if you don't believe that herbs are powerful, try the GI broom. Try a full dose of the GI broom and then talk to me, okay? I hope that helps, Steve. This is a great thing, and this is where we all need to really, put some thought on. And yeah, the natural world is more powerful than we give it credit for. And I always talk about when I was a kid, I told my mom, I said, Mom, go out and buy me Tang. And she's like, no, I want to get you orange juice. Don't drink that garbage, right? So I said, no, Mom, the astronauts all drink it. The NASA scientists invented it, and it has 5 times the vitamin C of orange juice, and, more calcium, more vitamin D, blah, blah, blah. And she went and got it for me. So, and I used to eat space food sticks. They were like this extruded, like brown tar type stuff, and it was supposed to have all these fantastic, nutrients in it, but it was all just garbage, high fructose corn syrup with a bunch of fake vitamins. So anyways, that's my long answer, I guess. But thank you for that question. I really appreciate that. And okay, so we got more questions loading up here, and okay, hold on. I keep on getting a little flip thing. Okay, are there fruits that should not be eaten together? That's Gigi. I kind of group it into the groups, right? If you see my video, how to do a fruit detox, which is coming up on 30,000 views. Thank you, everybody. That's amazing. I can't believe that we're getting these kind of views on these things. It's fantastic. We're coming up on 300,000 views on my YouTube channel too. So it's just awesome. The word is getting out there. Thanks to everybody. Really appreciate it. Uh, okay, so you have your acid fruits. You have your lemons, your limes, your citrus. Your oranges, strawberries are in there, pineapples are in there, and so forth, and kiwis. Then you have your subacid fruits. This is my favorite group. You have your grapes, your peaches, plums, apples, pears, all that, mangoes. And then you have your sweet fruits, your bananas and dates and things like that. So it's not that they can't be eaten together. They all have a different power. Your sweet fruits they have the most sugar in them, so they'll give you the most energy. Your dates and bananas, lots of energy there, but they're not that hydrating. And cleansing. Okay. And then the acid fruits, your citruses, have the most cleansing power, but they're not as energetic. So in the middle, of course, is your subacid fruits. Okay, but I don't know if you can't eat them together. The purists say do mono fruit. If you really want to be a purist, in the natural world, we would walk up to a bush or a tree, and we'd say, "Oh, look at those grapes, or look at those blueberries," and you'd sit in front of that bush, and you'd, for a half hour, you just load up till you weren't hungry. So mono fruit is probably the highest you can go. Okay. I do that sometimes, but my smoothies have about 4 or 5 things in them. Usually a little banana, some fresh orange juice, and some grapes and some berries. So yeah, mono's probably the purest there, but there's no hard fast rule on that. Okay, I hope that helps you. Okay, heartbreak high. You need to focus on the physical and spiritual whilst you have a body in this dimension, I reckon. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. We can't be too spiritual, we can't be too physical. We have to find the balance, and that's a great point. I think that my flaw, until I evolve, so to speak, and the flaw I see in a lot of people is they're too much in the material world. Everything is based in the material world. They don't think about the spiritual world. And then some people get too spiritual and lose sight of the material world and not function in it well. So yeah, we do live in the material world, like Madonna said. I believe it is a spiritual realm. It just has its properties, okay, that we're kind of locked into during this particular portion of our soul's journey. So yeah, we need to learn to play by its rules, but we also have to understand that we are spiritual beings having this material experience, and that we can be led astray, okay, and we have been, especially with our food, okay, and all that appears to be natural is not. Okay, like those supposedly healthy nacho cheese chips made with organic, non-GMO corn. Okay, all right, so we have Sophie. There's nothing wrong with being a conspiracy nut. Thank you. There is a reason why there is so much suffering going on around the planet. Yes, that is so true. And I do really think that the term conspiracy nut is used by the people in charge to keep us down. In other words, when we start to question, we get branded very quickly as, oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist, okay? And I remember when 9/11 happened, the towers fell. I bought the whole story completely hook, line, and sinker. I listened to George Bush, and he said, if you're not with us, you're with the terrorists, and all this kind of stuff. And then it wasn't until 5 or 6 years later that I heard about Building 7, that there was a third building that came down on its own. There was a couple office fires, and it came down on its own. I go, what? There was another building? Are you kidding me? And I looked it up, and that's when Pandora's box opened for me in a lot of ways. So, and I started to talk about it, and I was called a conspiracy nut. But now most people I talk to are onto it, and they're questioning too. So, yeah, there is a lot of suffering going on the planet, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And my message is get back to nature. Get back to nature. I live near Los Angeles. Thank God I got out of there. I live up north of Los Angeles in a small town you know, a block from the beach. I'm very blessed with that. I really feel great about that. But you know, a lot of people live, you know, and LA is starting to go vertical. They're putting so many people down in there, and it's going vertical. People have no sense of nature. You know, they jump in their car, they go down to their underground car park, they jump in their car, they get in their car, they jump on the freeway, they get to work, they go to their cubicle. They have no sense of nature. They're losing their touch with nature, and they go out to Subway for lunch and, you know, the Olive Garden for dinner and all this, and they're completely lost. So yes, there's a lot of suffering, and when they turn their back on nature, that's what causes it. Okay, they're going to eat the acid forming, lymph sewer clogging foods that send them into pain and suffering at a very early age. Okay, and I consider 50 an early age. I consider 80 an early age now for suffering. We don't need to suffer. Okay, there's plenty of 80, 90. I don't know about Dave McCoy what he's eating, but he's at 103. He's still on skis. So, anyways, there's plenty of people that have figured this out, and a lot of them are eating raw, natural foods. Okay, and the juicing is just wonderful. Take a look at the juice people. Take a look at Jay Cordes. Take a look at Jack LaLanne. You know, these people are just thriving. Well, they were thriving. Jack was. I think he died at 97, 98. Okay, we have Justin, and Justin is saying, I'm currently doing a personalized protocol via Iris and questionnaire. Anyways, I currently just started a few days ago. I'm doing about 24 to 27 apples daily and 8 to 10 bananas. The apples, I do water apple smoothies, and I eat bananas regular. Is this okay? Fruit to do it with, and how much? Basically apples and bananas, herbs, and a good detox strategy. Can't afford berries, plus they're always sour and unripe. Okay, so you're doing a mono fruit thing basically. Okay, so your apples are going to be in the subacid category. They're going to be very, of course, hopefully very sweet. They're going to, you know, they're very hydrating. They're very alkalizing. They're very energizing. They're wonderful cleansers. You know, they really truly are. The bananas are more bulky. They're not detoxifying like those apples. Okay, so they're more grounding for you. You may want to do those, you know, after you've digested the apples. Let's say you have a bunch of apples in the morning. Okay, and then maybe for lunch have a few bananas, but don't eat them together. Okay, I would not do that. I would do the apples separately than the bananas. Okay, they both have separate properties. Okay, I'm assuming that you're doing the bananas because you're still hungry doing the apples. Okay, I don't know how old you are. You may be very active, so that might be why you're doing the bananas. Okay, you don't really need to do the bananas if you're doing those apples. But I don't know the full circumstances. Okay, so the herbs, I don't know. Yeah, I would need to know more about this. The berries can be very expensive. That's true, and they can be sour. You know, the berries. If you can't find good organic ones that are ripe, you know, go to the frozen. You know, I have a Trader Joe's. They have these. They're not organic, but they're wild. Boreal blueberries. They're small blueberries. They're wonderful, and they're in the wild. There's no pesticides, and they're wonderful, and they're really inexpensive, like $3.50 a pound or $3.80 a pound, something like that. They're really sweet and wonderful. They also have some raspberries they're organic and really nice. So yeah, go to the frozen. You don't lose that much with the frozen, guys. Okay. And I even confirmed this with Steve Factor. We had lunch the other day, and I asked him that direct question. And he's actually a raw food chef, and he went to a great school and all that stuff. And he's really into this whole detox thing. Friend of Dr. Morse's, and he says, yeah, you don't lose that much with the frozen. So I would go with the frozen in the berries if you want to do those. Okay, so yeah, it depends on the herbs you're on and all that. There's a lot of questions here. Hopefully, maybe you can give me more information about that. Okay. How do we work on the parathyroid gland, Jeb? Okay, so of course the answer is always detoxification, general detoxification, hitting the 4 areas, of course, getting kidney filtration, getting the glands back online with the herbs, especially the adrenals, which control the kidneys. So that's sort of job 1, is getting the kidney filtration. You can clean the GI tract at the same time, and that is done through the high fruit, high raw, and also the herbs, the GI broom especially. And then you also want to move lymph. There's lymphatic herbs that actually will stimulate the lymph system and move it. You don't want to be doing a lot of those until you get kidney filtration, or else you're going to push all those acids and toxins up against the kidney door, and you're going to, could hurt the kidneys, could get UTIs, could get more kidney inflammation. So, and then specifically for the parathyroid gland, Dr. Morse has a bone and connective tissue formula that targets the parathyroid gland with specific herbs. Okay, like I said, it's calcium utilization, so this is in his bones formula. Okay, and connective tissue, which is a lot of calcium tied in there. And then you can also do glandulars, as parathyroid glandulars. Okay, so hope that answers your question. Heartbreak High, hello, MarkJamesGordon. What are the best foods to detox from chemtrails? Okay, so chemtrails. Hey, you're a conspiracy nut, aren't you, Heartbreak High? I believe chemtrails are real. If you just search the term geoengineering, you'll get the whole story. If you search chemtrails, though, you'll come up with all kinds of negatives on that. But yeah, geoengineering is what it's called. There's aluminum dioxide and barium salts that they're spraying on us, presumably to save the planet from overheating. I don't quite know what's going on. I do know they are spraying, and I do know that I do not like aluminum anywhere near me, but it is getting in. The answer to all this, you guys, the answer to all environmental toxicity is detoxification. The lymph system is a lipid-based system that can trap these things. So you want to keep it flowing, you want to keep it filtering. I just read something, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. They were tying Alzheimer's disease basically, well, here it is right here. The herpes virus in particular is known to damage the central nervous system, okay, and that's what shingles is. Shingles is the herpes virus that attacks the nerves, the myelin sheaths, and the limbic system in the brain, which regulates mood and instinct, and is associated with mental decline and personality changes. They also point to the fact that a gene mutation, APOE4, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, so we can get real technical with all this stuff. But the point is that if you have, viruses and parasites and bad bacteria and heavy metals and toxicities that you pick up in the environment, all that, it's all lymphatic. You clean the lymph system, all this stuff goes out of you. It gets filtered out of you. It doesn't Nature is so smart that if it doesn't belong in you, it wants to take it out. And you have all kinds of intelligent little guys in there that identify. That's all they do. They go around and identify bad pathogens. They locate the heavy metals. They locate the toxins, okay? And they try to get them out. But with your 3 trips to the Olive Garden pasta bar, in your 6-pack of Miller Lite every night, is putting all these acid-forming, lymph-clogging foods in the body for years and sometimes generations. Your body can't do its job, and this stuff builds up. So, answer is detoxification, right? Fukushima, detox it. Keep detoxing. That radiation. Keep it all flowing. Keep it all flowing. Keep it all moving. And this is not easy. Okay, especially when we've neglected it for so long, but it's doable. So it takes some years. Big deal, right? What do we got to lose? We have nothing to lose. We have a lot to lose. All those heavy metals and all those bad boys that are stuck inside of us. Okay, and they can trap in like your knees and your feet, your brain. I mean, trap everywhere. That's why you got to dig deep and constant. Always be detoxing. Okay, get into the raw foods. Get into the herbs. Do the neurolymphatic points, do the ear candling, do the hot and cold showers. Always think about stimulating that lymph. We live in a toxic world. We live in a natural world, getting more unnatural all the time, especially if you live in the city. That's the trend. The trend is going towards more unnatural, okay? You guys want a good conspiracy? Look up Agenda 21, United Nations Agenda 21, United Nations Agenda 30. It'll show you the whole map of the United States, what what is going on, how we're being sort of lassoed into these cities, okay? And they're turning the vast parts of America into parkland. North America is a beautiful, beautiful continent that's going to be turned into a parkland, according to the globalist engineering, okay? So once you know that you're actually being kind of corralled into the cities through economic warfare, and basically psychological warfare and just survival. So know that the world is getting more and more unnatural. Well, I shouldn't say that. The world is natural, but we're being sort of engineered into being more unnatural. You notice how in such high regard they put the scientists, they put the doctors. Look at these TV shows, okay? They put the, a lot of these institutionalized orders in such high regard, okay? And that's sort of how it's being done. All right. So yeah, if Alzheimer's is caused by a herpes virus, okay, fine. Let's just keep detoxing. Herpes viruses don't belong in the body. The body wants to get them out. They've been identified a long time ago by the body. They just can't get to them. All right. And that's the same with cancer and all these things, all across the board. I know it sounds like it's a real broad stroke and it's real simple, but it really is. It's that simple. Clean your sewer. Where do I buy the parathyroid glandular? You can get those online. Dr. Morse has them, but I think you have to be a club member, and they don't put those online. You may even have to have a consultation with them. I'm not sure, but I think they sell them on Amazon. Pure formulas. Try pure formulas for the glandulars. Okay. Justin, thanks. Yeah, I work on my feet 8 hours a day. Pretty easy job, but I'm on my feet. So yes, I do the bananas because I'm still hungry. Yeah. I'm doing a custom 14-week protocol. So you're hitting it hard on the herbs. That's a huge protocol. There must be something, you must be working on a really heavy something. I don't know what you're working on, but let me know. John Wayne, is that you, John Wayne? I just changed my diet by adding a lot of veggies and fruits. That's right. Okay. Cutting out the carbs and sugars, which helps me quit smoking. Is this the real John Wayne here? Well, good. You're quitting smoking. Smoking, you got to remember, you're taking in acid. That smoke coming out of that cigarette is acidic, and it goes into the lungs. So it's acidosis in the lungs, okay, which causes inflammation. That backs up. That causes lymphatic problems in the lungs. It can spiral on you. Okay, I feel great. I have more energy, less sleep needed, and better moods. Fantastic. Yeah. But I'm concerned that many years of smoking has not left my body yet, and my urine is quite bubbly. Any recommendations to detox? Okay. The years of smoking is not okay. So the years of smoking is probably not. That does a lot of damage to you. It's very acidic. Okay, and so to repair that, yeah, you quit smoking and you start going alkaline. You start detoxing, alkalizing the body deep. You can do the 3-lung tea. You can do. Dr. Morse has a lungs formula. General detoxification is going to help with all this. You probably have a lot of toxins trapped in the lymphatic system from all that smoke. I mean, I hear there's 300 or 400 chemicals in cigarettes, unless you're doing the natural and American spirits or whatever, which I hear have nothing in them. But and God knows what's in the filters. I don't know. But yeah, you have a lot of toxicity. Just keep working on it. Learn detoxification, dig deep, get the kidney door open, start filtration, and start working all those 4 areas I talked about, and this stuff will come out of you. Okay. So just you found the path. Now just get on the path and keep going, and keep reporting back to us. Let us know how you're doing, John Wayne. And I understand that John Wayne, when he died, had 40 pounds of fecal matter in his gut. You could see his distended belly. There was 40 pounds of rotten fecal matter from all his red meat eating. Now, I don't know if that's one of these urban legends or not, but I've heard it more than once. So, and it makes sense. And of course, he died of cancer. We all know that. So, Anyways, Justin, also curious about your experience with filtration of the kidneys. How long did it take you personally on raw herbs? Yeah, I got it real quick, guys. I always, not to brag, in some people it takes a year, longer. So, I did, I did, I wanted to read this to you, okay? I think it was Jeb that wrote this in. Let me see if I can find it. I put it in here to share with you guys because Jeb. Oh man, now I can't find it. But he okay. So I think this is it. Okay, yeah, here I found it. Okay, so Jeb writes in. I wanted to share a quick story about filtering. So I've been eating all raw for a year. $1,000 worth of Dr. Morse's herbs, Heal All Tea, Giovanna Tea, which is my brand, GI Broom, saunas almost every day, 3 weeks of orange fasting, 3 weeks of apple fasting, 3 weeks of watermelon fasting, castor oil packs, and on and on. Well, my mom gave me some potatoes, so last night for dinner, I had 3 large boiled potatoes and a salad and a bowl of cooked tomato soup. Okay, cooked tomato soup is one of the most acidic things ever. Okay. Um, well, this morning I got the best filtration I ever saw. Cloudy right away with an inch of sediment after an hour. Never saw that before. Why? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I was on raw fruits and herbs for a year with a ton of herbs and no filter, and I checked every day, all day, religiously for months and months and months, and I got filtering with cooked potatoes. Doesn't make any sense. Okay? And man, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I totally agree. And I had the same experience I shared before that I got some really great filtration after I had a cheat night. I think I went out and had pizza or something, right? And so the only thing I can say is that was such a shock to your system. It was probably like being electrocuted with two probes. You probably got a shock treatment is what I'm thinking. And very crazy. Jeb, please check in with us and let us know if you just got that filtration or if you've unlocked the door. My guess is you shocked the system with all those acids and you probably shut down again, but I could be wrong. Like I say, I'm learning about filtration. I'm learning the nuances of it. Nobody's really put together a database. That's definitely going in my database. But yeah, we need to collate all this information. You guys need to share your filtration stories because this is the golden key. Okay, this is the whole crux of this thing is getting kidney filtration. Because once we have that, then we can really go aggressive with some of those heavy duty lymphatic herbs. There's some strong ones. The lymphatic herbs are the strongest herbs in the world. Okay, and if you don't have the filtration, you can't use them. Okay, because they'll hurt you. So. But once we get good filtration, we can really get in there and really dig deep and move lymph and heal you guys up, okay? All right. All right. So, what are the best 2 herbs to get the kidneys to filter? Wow, great question. My number 1 herb in my studies of the kidneys right now, and this could change, my number 1 herb is dandelion, and you can buy dandelion at the farmers markets, and you can also buy the tinctures, and you can buy the herb, the dry herb and all that. And I put it in my Giovanna. This herb is amazing for the kidneys, and why? Is because it is known to dissolve minerals and solids. Okay, they get trapped in these organs, even in the liver and the gallbladder. So it's a great dissolver of sediments, okay? That's why it's my favorite. And it's very alkalizing and it's anti-inflammatory. And I would also say that parsley is a fantastic kidney herb as well. And I also like juniper berries, all right? But these things are best done in sort of a synergistic formula. And I am coming out with a Giovanna. I have my tea, and it's a 5-in-1 detox or alkalizer that's specifically made, for getting kidney filtration and detoxification and killing parasites and all these things that we need to do. I call it kind of like the poor man's four-way detox. But I'm going to come out with some boosts, and one of them is going to be a kidney boost. And for a few, I think like $9 more, I'm going to put in a whole pack of herbs that you can add to this tea, that's going to boost it. Okay, so you can actually target some certain areas with it. Okay, and the kidney adrenal complex is where my first boost is going to be. So stay tuned for that one. Okay, and it's going to basically add more of these great kidney herbs and more of these adrenal herbs. Okay. Thank you, Mark. See you next Monday night. Best webinar ever, Galina. Thank you, Gigi. I appreciate that. Maybe I needed that week break to to get fresh again. I don't know. Anyways, I have a whole next week's going to be good too because I wrote down so much stuff, you guys. All right. Jeb, so Jeb's going to chime in. Great. After the potatoes, I went back on raw fruit and the filtration stopped. Okay, so that was my hunch. Maybe cooked potatoes promote filtration. Who knows? You might have had a shock there and it opened them up temporarily. Maybe try the cooked potatoes again and see if it comes back. Maybe cooked potatoes are going to be in my detox kidney boost. I don't know. I highly doubt that. Talking about potatoes, the white potatoes are nightshades, okay, and they're inflammatory. The sweet potatoes are anti-inflammatory, just so you know. So if you're gonna feel, if it's wintertime, whatever, you feel like being grounded, you feel like some cooked food, a sweet potato is not a bad choice. It is anti-inflammatory. In fact, the wild yam is in a lot of Dr. Morse's formulas as an anti-inflammatory. Okay. Justin, Jeb, you can buy glandulars from Dr. Morse, his affiliate site, ourbotanicals.com. Oh, I didn't know he had an affiliate site, ourbotanicals.com. Okay, good to know. I'll look into that. All right. All right, so you guys, it's an hour and 6. Yeah, that was fantastic. I had a great time, and thank you all for sharing everything, and give me some feedback if I'm getting too out there spiritually or conspiracy or anything. Just let me know. Let me know how I'm doing. I'm just here to help you guys. I'm here to clarify my message, to get more dialed in on helping. That is my mission, is to help you guys, and to achieve optimal energy, optimal optimal health, and if longevity is a byproduct of that, fantastic. If higher spiritual consciousness is a byproduct, fantastic. Okay, and I always say, when you find your remedy, please share this information. When it starts to become your truth, then you can share it honestly, and people will really, they'll key into your honesty. All right, and we need more warriors out there spreading this information, because they're, like one of the people said, there's a lot of sickness on this planet, and it really is heartbreaking, and it really is needless. 1 in 8 people have chronic kidney disease. 41% of the people get cancer. I mean, this is outrageous, and I'm going to do a whole thing on how these cancer rates have just been skyrocketing. Okay, and even in the babies. So all right, everybody doing just great, Mark. Okay, so everybody's good. All right, awesome. Well, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week, unless there's a really great powdered snowstorm that comes in. But anyways, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.